How you doing, Brian King, UK Flooring TV? Episode 5 of our apprenticeship series. We're with Dan Jones. How you doing, Dan?
I'm fine, cheers. You?
Yeah, not bad. This week we're going to show the raw finder and loop pile cutter. Cracking tool. I use it all the time. I use it for joins, cutting stairs. The raw finder, I run a row in, measure it off the wall to make sure the carpet's square.
Yeah.
Multiple uses for it. What's the main use you use it for, Dan?
Yeah, good for cutting stairs, I find. There's only one thing that will stop you using this, and if the rows of a carpet are wobbly, you're going to end up with the same wobble in your edges. To tell you the truth, when I'm on stairs and it does that little bit of a thing, I don't really care as long as they're the same width all the way down. You can manage to take that out in the grippers, can't you?
Yeah, on joins sometimes.
Yeah, on a join you struggle because if you've got one edge bowed that way and the other edge bowed the same way, well now you've got twice as big of a gap to close up.
That's where your plan B comes in. I have an Invisisima for that.
Yeah.
The odd time I'll run a raw knittle bow.
Yeah.
Then I'll use another method for cutting the joint.
And what I'll do is if they don't bow too much, I'll just seam it together with clamps and things and leave the little bulges. And then when it's gone dry, I'll stretch the bulges out afterwards. That's if they're not too bad.
Rule 1 with the raw finder, always go with the pile, not against the pile.
With the pile, yeah. You can, once you get into it, you would be able to go the other way.
Yeah, but to
start off, yeah. So what you want is your row finder. You don't want a point on the end of it. It needs to be a bit blunt. They do wear sharp like this has, and they've also got, that's got 2 angles on it really. You don't want to stick the spike into the back of the carpet. You just want to rest it so that the spike isn't sticking in. So it's pretty simple to do.
It's the thing is with a raw finder, if you try too hard,
the more you try, the less chance you've got. Yeah,
it pops out and you can't run it.
And if you're worried, I mean, I find to hold it at the end, it finds its own way. You don't really need to go backwards and forwards. You just get in there and basically it will find a row. If you're worried that it's not straight, if you run another row next to it,
and then just keep checking the measurements.
If you can just see that they're together, you know you've run straight. You know your row finder has run between the rows. That won't show you if the rows are straight. But it is pretty simple. So you hold it at an angle where if you put it too high an angle, it'll keep catching in the back. So if you just get it at a nice angle like that, and you'll feel it's going nice. And then if you're going to run the row cutter through it, a lot of people do it a second time.
I go over it a second time and put the angle slightly lower to really open that
pull it
pile
apart, or you can even get the bigger one and run the bigger one into it as well.
They come as a set of 2. You get a thinner one and a fatter one.
Yeah.
The fatter one it's usually for they sell loop piles, don't they?
Well, or if I've got something that's got a real long pile that I need to open up, I'll use
the bigger one.
I'll use the bigger one. The little one will really work for everything. It's very rare that I get the large one out.
Same with me. Yeah. The thinner one, it's in my knife pouch.
If this starts messing me about, the next thing I'll do is try the big one, and then if not, I'll go for some alternative method. But basically, you get in where the pile is. And again, if it's gone wrong, you can just rub it away and you're off again. So it's pretty easy, look. See, it's stuck in the back there, so you can get it back out of the back once you get used to working it. But I mean, there's no effort involved in that, is there? You just see it.
No.
It's just happening, basically. And then you also see that they do with a loop pile. You can get, I haven't got one because I don't use one, but they do. You can use a normal comb, and they say that opens it up. You'd probably struggle to row find it because it'll keep catching in a loop, but I mean it will row find. But basically, I never row find a loop. This used to be called a loop pile cutter, as well as a row cutter. So basically, the idea with this is you can see where your rows are because it's a loop. I'd just push it down.
Follow the sound of the loop.
And once it's stuck in that gully, there you go. Perfect. No, we're not even trying. We haven't even run a row. It just follows. Let's just jump on there because I was pushing too fast. But you can feel with this, if it's working properly, it just pushes along nice. I mean,
if you set the height on it, it can't come out anywhere.
No, what I tend to do is leave that loose, get it into the gap, push it down a bit, and now it's really stuck into that.
Yeah, you can't pull it out, so you can push it with your finger and shut your eyes.
So so if you just imagine that's 5.5 meters long for your stairs. Well, we're straight in here now. Look there, we've got one side cut, and then your other. If it was on the top of that one underneath. But basically, you can use it on a quite uneven floor once you get the hang of it. I mean, you've just cut stairs there instantly, basically, haven't you? So
also, as well, if it's raining outside and you've no room to open the carpet up, you can roll a bit out, cut it, roll a bit more out.
You can be stuck in the corner here with it, and like Brian says, you can row find a bit, and then you can cut a bit, and then you can bring it to you. So you can basically you can cut a flight of stairs in a metre gap. So again, that's another useful thing, isn't it? When we get onto the carpet again, so if you run a row in that, if we was going to do a flight of stairs, what I tend to do, there's a blade on the right and there's a blade on the left. The left blade down cuts closer to the left hand side, the right blade down cuts closer to the right hand side. So you've got the gully in between your pile, where there isn't a row of pile, it's just into backing. So basically you're going to open a row up with your row finder, and then you'll bring your row cutter in, and then basically if you've got the left hand blade down, so now you've cut close to that side. If you put the right hand blade down, you'll cut close to the other side.
So if you were cutting a run of stairs now,
I would put the blade, I would leave most backing on both sides.
Right.
So that you've just got that bit of interbacking. Probably doesn't really matter with a tufted, but if you just leave that extra row on the side of, it stops it from fraying. Basically, because you've got a couple of rows of interbacking holding it in, or some people will fray the side off the stairs like that. And then basically you've got, if you took that, you've got less to fall off the edge. There's a few ways of doing these things, and you'll decide on the carpet you're using, whichever one you want to try. But as long as you know them all, you can bring them out when you need. I mean, I don't think there's much more you can say about that, really. It's pretty straightforward, isn't it?
Yeah. Also, they're used for joins, but we can come in another.
And again, you can cut a join 8 meters long just as fast as I was pushing that, which is where I think it comes into play there. You can't beat it, and all you've got to do to practice to use it is just get a piece of scrap. Once you've done this 5 times, I mean, I'm not even trying with this, and it'll go straight. And I mean, once you get the hang of it, it will go the other way. I wouldn't cut one the other way because you'd be catching bits of pile, but if you wanted to mark something,
yeah, if you're cutting waste off a carpet, what I'll do is get my row finder, run a row, and then I can follow that.
And you don't go into the good bit and end up cutting it in short. Yeah.
But yeah, for an apprentice learning how to cut stairs, this is another way and another method. You can cut stairs.
Yeah, and the straight edge from the back, you can cut it from the front. Yeah, you need to know all these ways and then choose your preferred way, or whichever way works on the carpet you're on. But yeah, pretty simple. So you just need a row finder and a row cutter, and you're off.
Right, cheers again, Dan. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Cheers.